I'm going to be taking you on an herb walk here at Isabella Friedman Jewish Retreat Center. And I was thinking I was supposed to lead an herb walk for our Passover retreat, and since I can't, I wanted to offer it anyway. So we'll be going through some of the plants that you can eat at this time of year in the spring. A lot of these plants have cleansing properties to them, so after a long winter where our bodies have maybe been a little more stagnant, we're going to be moving things through, going through those narrow places out of Mitzrayim into freedom, and making our bodies lighter. We have two really fun herbs right here, and they look very similar, and they're also part of the same general family called Asteraceae, or also known as the aster family. And one of them is dandelion, and dandelion, as I'm sure you've seen, grows all over North America, and they get their name from the words Dandelion, meaning teeth of the lion, because they kind of look like lion's teeth. And dandelion are not native to North America. They're from Europe. They were brought here through colonialism and have naturalized and spread all over. And dandelion is an incredible plant. You can eat all parts of it. You can eat the leaves, which are in the spring, so now. You can eat the flowers when they come out. You can fry them up and make dandelion fritters, which are delicious. Maybe you can even make them with matzah meal for Passover. And the leaves you could use as maror for your bitter herbs, although I'll get into that a little bit afterwards, because they are bitter, but they might not match up with all of the characteristics that maror needs to be. So you can also use the root, and you can dig up the root in the very early spring or late in the fall. And the root has a lot of tonic benefits, so it's helpful for your kidney and liver to flush out toxins. And you can eat the root raw, grated in salads. You can boil it in a tea, or you can roast it also and make a tea out of it that way. But the leaves are really delicious, not so bitter at this time of year, but as they mature and the flowers come out, they become really bitter. So, delicious. The next plant that we have is wild lettuce. And wild lettuce, you can see, looks very, very similar to the dandelion. But the difference is wild lettuce has these little spines on the edges of their leaf, and also on the back of the main vein, the central vein. And wild lettuce has a milky sap that comes out of the stem, and they're also very bitter. And bitter, anything with bitter properties, really helps your body just release toxins. It's a message to your lymphatic system to say, flush everything out. And yeah, that's what wild lettuce does. So wild lettuce, you can see here that it's starting to grow up, whereas dandelion grows flat out. And wild lettuce will develop a hard central stalk as it grows, and a flower that comes up out of here. And dandelion has a stalk with a flower that stays low down, and it doesn't have that hard central stalk. We learn in the story of Exodus and through our Passover narrative that when the Israelites first arrived in Egypt, the Pharaoh was soft and sweet, and they had a good life. But as time went on, Pharaoh's heart hardened, and the Israelites' lives became bitter. And so just like that story arc, so too do these plants start off soft and sweet, and eventually they develop a hard stalk and become very, very bitter. And so wild lettuce is one of the plants that are used for maror on our Seder plate. This plant is called garlic mustard, and garlic mustard is named because it's in the mustard family, but it tastes quite a bit like garlic. And garlic mustard is an invasive species, so that means that it takes over large swaths of land and crowds out other native species. And so when you harvest garlic mustard, you can just pull up the whole thing because you'll actually be helping your environment by harvesting more of it. So garlic mustard has these large lobes on the bottom and very crinkly leaves with a lot of veins that are very protruding. And they grow, this one is beginning to grow a central stalk, and it'll put out these tiny little flowers. Sometimes they're white, sometimes they're a light yellow, and they're delicious. You can make them into pesto, you can put them in salads. They add a nice garlicky mix to it.